Hey guys, Brandon Mccaghren. This is my wife, Lindsey Mccaghren. We're both 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu black belts, and we want to give you a quick recap of the UFC Boston card. So we'll start with the prelims here. We're not going to go through all of them, but a couple of them I did want to touch on. Brendan Allen versus Kevin Holland. In this fight, it was looking really good for Holland. His jiu-jitsu looked incredible. But Brendan Allen makes a great move at the end, takes his back in the second round, and ends up setting in the rear naked choke. In another one of the really interesting prelims, Sean Woodson defeated Kyle Bochniak. It was actually a unanimous decision. Tell us what you thought about that with such an incredible reach advantage for Woodson.
Right. Was it 8 inches?
It was an 8-inch reach advantage, yeah.
So, yes, and height advantage as well. Woodson was able to keep him on the outside of his range, and Bochniak had trouble getting on the inside, so he just took a beating on the outside.
He took a beating, and Woodson kept leading. He would throw that switch knee right up the middle. He's almost using it like an uppercut, but just such incredible distance. He looked great, man, and for such a big, tall guy, he was really loose. Another fight that I wanted to touch on, this was an awesome fight. This ended up being a catchweight because of the missed weight by Bermudez. But Manny Bermudez versus Charles Rosa. And Bermudez was looking awesome in this fight until he didn't look that awesome. Yeah. Big time armbar off the back. So used his guard to catch an armbar. Rosa beats Bermudez by, it was actually a verbal submission. He had to say tap, 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 tap because he was caught him against it. Rosa did not look like he was going to be in a position to flip that armbar. He was just hanging on to that 2-on-1.
Right.
But, man, he pulled it out. Awesome win for Charles Rosa against a really, really good submission guy in Bermudez. Let's go to the main card. Darren Stewart versus Darren Winn. And Darren Stewart wins a split decision. Really close one. Again, this was a catch weight because we had a missed weight from Darren Winn. So Stewart gets the split decision, just dominated the striking. Winn's a super tough dude. Kept working and getting good takedowns, but
yeah, he dominated the wrestling. Had lots of takedown attempts, but once it went to the ground, even off of his back, Darren Stewart was throwing elbows to the top of the head, split Winn, bleeding from the top of the head.
Yeah, the first round, Winn really dominated positionally, but Stewart from his back, like you said, man, he was just slicing him with those elbows, and it shows you, a guy with a real guard can be really, really dangerous. I was saying that was kind of reminiscent of Kenny Florian versus Sean Shirt. It wasn't that bloody. It wasn't that much damage, but just goes to show you the guy from the bottom can be super, super, super dangerous.
Offensive. Yeah.
Maycee Barber versus Jillian Robertson. Go ahead with the ladies' fight.
Well, like you were saying, you thought that it was an early stoppage. Barber was, had some really good strikes. Got Gillian up against the cage, and it looked like she was kind of shutting down, defending herself a little. All the strikes, Gillian, and Robertson. All the strikes weren't landing from Barber, but the ref, I guess didn't think she was defending herself like she should have been. So.
I felt like the referee stepped in and stopped it because he was tired of seeing a woman get hit. I thought it was just an atrocious stoppage by the referee, just horrendous. I couldn't believe that it got stopped. I mean, there was no real damage even accumulating. Yes, there was no complaints from Robertson on the stoppage, and I'm not saying Barber didn't deserve the win, but I just thought the referee was absolutely atrocious in this matchup. If you go back and watch it, I can't believe it was stopped. I can't believe it still. Joe Lauzon versus Jonathan Pearce. Lauzon comes out, gets the knockout in 1 minute and 33 seconds. Awesome.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Dude, he was so emotional fighting there in front of the Boston crowd. This one was one that we talked a lot about. Greg Hardy versus Ben Sosoli. Boring.
Yeah.
It was boring. Say what you want to about Greg Hardy, whether you like or don't like, whether he's in the UFC. This dude is a super powerful athlete. And Sosoli, again, another 8-inch reach advantage, wasn't it? Just could not close the distance.
Yeah, I kept thinking, why has Hardy not put this guy away? I mean, the size advantage, just height-wise, was incredible.
They looked like they were in two different weight classes, but they both cut to make 265. It was crazy. All right, the co-main was Yair Rodríguez versus Jeremy Stephens. This is that rematch after the eye poke just a couple of weeks ago. I thought Stephens was going to pull this one out. This one ends up going to the cards 29-28 on every scorecard in favor of Yair Rodríguez.
And Rodríguez was very exciting. I mean, very dynamic. throwing all kinds of tornado kicks.
He's
and
wild, dude. I love him.
Axe kicks and just coming out. Just what was the first thing that he? I was just like,
dude, he threw a
crazy
flying
thing.
side kick to the head just to
initial,
open the round.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they kind of squashed the bad blood at the end of the fight, so
Yeah.
that was nice to see too. They were even like shaking hands with each other's corner and hugging it up and everything. Main event. I missed this one too. I had Weidman for sure. I thought Weidman was gonna smoke. Was gonna smoke Dominick Reyes.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been further from the truth. Tell him.
Just Reyes is a young up and comer, undefeated, and just
11-0 coming into this one.
Yeah, just looked amazing and in awesome shape. You know, Weidman, seasoned veteran.
Weidman was on him early with the heavy takedown pressure.
Yeah.
But Reyes broke the clinch,
Had good
separated,
takedown defense.
boom, and one straight, I think it was a straight left, right down the middle, and Weidman dropped, and man,
Just
Reyes was
hammer
on top
fists.
of him.
I think there were 4 hammer fists, and then the ref called it.
Yeah, and that one was a good stoppage because Weidman,
Yeah.
his head flipped back. He wasn't defending himself any longer. So, big takeaways from the night? Anything for you?
Just I'm curious to see what Reyes is going to do. You know, I don't know that he can stay on this winning streak. You know, he's number 4 right now, but he's going to get into some very dangerous waters with.
Yeah. So who do you think's next for him? Maybe Johnny Walker. Some people in the chat were talking about Johnny Walker.
That would be very interesting.
Yep, I like him maybe against Thiago Santos. That's another good fight.
Yeah,
I like
that would be
Reyes
good.
versus Santos probably is
Yeah.
my favorite fight. What do you think's next for Weidman? I mean, so this was at 205. He just jumped up from 185. Do you think he can hang at 205? Do you think his chin is done? Like, what's going on with Weidman?
I don't know. Like, why did he go up to 205? Like,
I think
what's he
he's just
ranked at 185?
I think he's tired of cutting weight and he wants to see how his body holds up at the higher weight class, you know.
Yeah, like you guys were talking about, like he's got a. I hate to say that people have weak chins.
Stronger than mine, but
yeah.
But he's been
I
touched
don't want to
several
get punched in
times.
the face, but
Yeah.
a 205er punching you in the face when you get knocked out by a 185er.
Especially Dominick Reyes. That dude's super powerful. So that's it. That's our recap on the results from UFC Boston. Hope you guys enjoyed the fights. We'll be coming back. We'll be doing a live stream, Maia versus Askren, next Saturday, dude. I'm super pumped for that one. Go ahead and make your pick, Maia or Askren. You got to call it.
Maia.
Yeah, I got Askren. I got Askren.